Hi Nipur. Hi Anuradha.
Good evening.
Good evening to all.
Hi Prithvi.
Hi, Wisdom. Hi.
You're already in Chennai?
Yes. Just reach. Just reach.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Sure.
Last time, what time did we do the session? Was it the same time?
Yeah, it was same time, around 5.
You have
But it
it.
was on a Friday, I think so.
Because I'm just thinking maybe it's also a work day, right? So for people to join in at this hour could be slightly tricky.
Yeah.
Just we'll wait for another 2 more minutes, Meghna, and we can then start.
But we don't have, do we have a lot of participants already?
We have about 12.
And most of us are already chatting with each other. Are there? Let's, I think, wait for 5 more minutes till
Yeah.
more people. At least 25, 30 people should be in.
We're just putting another reminder in all our groups.
Hi Preeti. You reached home?
Meghna, we have about 20 participants. Do we want to start? I think people will keep joining in.
Done, let's do that.
So very warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining this session today on confidence and self-branding. My name is Vibha and I'm from the Aspire for Her team. I would just request our Chief Growth Officer, Ruchita Tandon, to address the audience.
Thank you so much, Vibha. Good evening, everyone. It's always, lovely welcoming the community. And of course, this time we again have a star speaker who's Meghna. I wouldn't get much into the session, but all I recall is we had an event with Kérastase, and that's the first time we met Meghna. And the moment we told her about the work we do and what Power Talks is all about, and she said, just count me in. And since then, we always count her in. there is always a requirement for confidence, and nobody better than Meghna to take the session. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Vibha, back to you, and welcome Meghna once again.
Thank you. It's always so amazing to be back with Aspire for Her family, and of course, Power Talks with Kérastase. I think we're all here becoming the boss ladies that we want to be in every area of your life, especially as career women, right? I think we all aspire to have our own space in the work environment that we are working at, or in the careers that we are following, or in the entrepreneur setup that we're exploring. And there are some key things that I feel sometimes we would want to talk about or share with each other. So this is a safe space. This is a beautiful platform, and I'm so honored to be a part of this, because what we do need in everyday life is a strong community of women who always have each other's backs. And I think this is that, where you have a problem and we will find you a masterclass or a workshop where you can come in and completely discuss it out with us. And that is going to be today's session as well. Right. So we're talking about confidence and self-branding. And I think in today's world, where women are literally shoulder to shoulder with men in every career possible, it's so important to have our brand as a person super solid. Because at the end of the day, what one remembers about you is who you are, what work ethics you bring to the table, what personality do you carry yourself with, what are the skill sets that set you apart from all of your other competitors. And I think also what we were just discussing before we started the session, little things about your personality, such as the smile that you have, the positive attitude that you have, or just the aura that you bring into a workspace. People value all this. These are those little things, that intangible, that nobody talks about, but they are very, very highly valued aspects of, I think, our personalities, that we should never, ever not take into consideration. Right. So let's dive into the session. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself as to why I think I can do what I'm doing today. I come from an army background, so I've had this golden, ticket to traveling across India while I was growing up. I studied in a lot of schools. Some schools didn't even have English as a language, to sort of study till around sixth standard. So I was literally a child who was born into a very confused cultural setup, because every 2 years I would be in a different city, new school, new curriculum, new set of friends. So what it did for me was two things. It made me very adaptable. I would mentally tell myself that, okay, this is where I am right now, and this is what I need to do to succeed, right? To make new friends, to be able to adapt, to be able to, learn the culture, the habits, the etiquettes, because those are important things, right? You're sensitive to the community that you're a part of. The other thing it did was that it helped me tie my happiness not to people, but to goals. So I became someone who was very good at studies, very good at extracurriculars, very good at sports, because I knew those things I would have school after school. It will always stay with me, because that'll be my personal legacy, right? So I think those two things sort of became my, ticket to where I am today. And over the years, I've also been very, very fortunate to have accumulated and explored lots and lots of different work opportunities. I work as an actor, I work as a presenter, I work as a writer, and now I also work as a full-fledged content creator influencer. So all of these 4 different dimensions of my work life have given me the exposure to meet with so many different people, learn about so many different success stories, and especially women, and I'm someone who's always the biggest supporter of strong women who are trying to find a foothold, because I know how difficult it is for us in every industry. We don't have it easy, right? Which is why it is important for us to have each other's backs, which is why it is important for us to celebrate a community like this, because this community is going to help us when we need things things in our life to move. So I feel I've been very fortunate to have had a very strong woman in my life, which has been my mom. She's always a working lady. She's always been a teacher in the schools that I was studying in. Not that she ever favored me. She was one of the strict ones. So I always got punished for what I had to get punished for, which was usually breaking, rules of talking too loudly. But having said that, I feel she was a very, very strong role model for me, right? She always taught me a work-life balance. She never brought her work home, but she always had very strong work ethics. She was known for somebody who was always well turned out, really well turned out, right? She had these, I think she had so many saris in her closet. I remember like every day would be a new, sari out on her and with new jewelry and everything tip top. Her presentation, the way she spoke to people, the confidence, the warmth. So I was very fortunate to have learned all that firsthand. And I was able to incorporate that in my life because all of these four fields that I'm a part of, confidence, my appearance, how I carry myself every minute, really matters. I cannot be someone who is, say, not 100% present. I have to be 100% present in all of these things, right? Because this is my work and it's my face, it's my body. So I have to be there, right? So when we talk about confidence, what is confidence? What is this word that we throw around very loosely? So confidence means to have conviction or belief in something, right? Like I would have, say, confidence in my mom, that she is always going to be there for me, right? Now I have confidence because she's always showed me that support, right? Or for my dad. When it comes to my confidence, my own inner confidence, how do I define that? How do I know that I'm a confident person? I know that because if I am challenged by a situation, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to find a skill set, a unique trait in my personality, an aspect of my, life that I can help get over that challenge. That's confidence. I'm not running away from life. I'm facing it head on. What else is confidence? Confidence is also truly celebrating yourself, right? Now, I'm unique. I have curly hair. I have dimpled smile. I may not look like your conventional beautiful heroine, but I'm beautiful, right? So I'm celebrating myself as someone who is born with a certain unique skill sets, right? We all have different bodies. We all look different. We all speak different. We all have different things of our personality, right? To be truly able to embrace yourself as that person, to really be able to be kind to yourself every day, not compare, not begrudge, not be jealous of others, but to truly see yourself, okay, this is where I'm at in life. These are my skill sets. This is the person that I am currently. Now, where can I go from, here? What's my path forward? As opposed to me trying to say, Are usne itna kaam kiya, Are she's doing so well, or he or she is getting promotions. Life is always happening around us. I think we have to count our smallest victories and celebrate them. Because sometimes, we don't even realize we take very small baby steps every day. But a month later, when we turn back and see, we've come such a long way because we were consistent with our baby steps, right? So I think today's session is going to be about focusing on those tiny little baby steps that we can take towards becoming our confident self. Because every little step that we take every day is going to really add up into this beautiful blossoming personality of yours, which I would love to know and, see maybe in person one of these days. Thanks to Aspire for her. So maybe we'll have a session in person for all of us to get together and chat. But okay, let's get down to it, right? I have actually a long list of stuff to share with you because there's so much I want to be able to share.
So, Meghna, I've just asked Farisha to launch the first set of polls.
Yes. Let's start with the poll because we want to know who all have logged in, what part of career, what stage of career that you're at right now. So it'll help me also understand and sort of curate my conversation around, where you guys want me to be. Also, whichever aspect you feel you would want me to spend more time on, I think the second question in our poll is exactly that. So we can actually spend more time discussing about it. We can take your questions. So that's going to be super helpful for us. So please take a moment and just quickly put in your poll answers. because as soon as we have that, we're able to sort of work with it. Okay. So now, today we're going to be discussing the 4 C's to becoming a boss lady. Okay, now these are very, very important. And if you have a notebook or a notepad somewhere, write it down. Because I think I've had this on my board because it's been sort of my guiding map. And these are also reminders when I forget, why am I doing, what am I doing, and how am I getting better at things. Okay, so the first thing is confidence, right? The first C in our life that we need to be a boss lady is confidence. Now, where do you get this confidence from? Right? Like I said, it's about turning your anxieties, your doubts, and your fears into your victories. Now, it sounds very simple, I know, but it's very, very tough. It takes a lot of work. And it's not an overnight job. It's not even a 1 week or a 10-day job. It's going to be work in progress. I am work in progress after so many years, right? There are still situations that will throw me off. There will still be, challenges that I probably don't have the skill set to cope with. But the fact that I'm willing to learn, the fact that I'm willing to accept that I need to work on myself more and more every day is the first step to building confidence, right? So now, how did I build my confidence? Like I told you, I went to a lot of different schools, didn't speak English. And I remember कि हमारे school में, when I was in 6th standard in Lucknow, we used to have this news presentation in the morning in the assembly, right? So a student from every class would volunteer and they would write down some bullet points about the news headlines and present it in the school assembly. Now, this was a gigantic school. Okay, there's a small little stage and like a big ground. And rows and rows and rows of kids just like lined up. And you're like on that stage with that one mic in front of you. And when you come up on stage and you say good morning, your voice echoes back to you 3 times. Right? So this was my biggest fear. The day that I'm going to have to present the news, I don't know how I'm going to do it because I've never been on a stage that big. But I knew I had to do it because that is going to be a challenge that I definitely have to overcome. So I spoke to my dad, who told me, he says, you know what, take up a newspaper and any English newspaper and start reading it aloud in front of the mirror, and wherever you get stuck, you ask me. So I would literally, like, in terms of pronunciations, in terms of pauses, in terms of grammatical mistakes, I would always ask him. But I did my reading, say half an hour every day. I would pick up a newspaper and read and read and read out loud, and that helped me also listen to how I was sounding. So I think the first step to really becoming confident is to have a voice that has conviction, that is clear, that has a certain amount of value, So that is very important because wherever that you may be as a professional, if you're speaking something, you've got to say it with a lot of conviction. You have to have that, bank of knowledge with you when you're standing up in front of a bunch of people for a presentation or for an event, or, even in terms of, just holding a small group meeting. So I feel these little things are so important. So definitely work on your articulation, your vocabulary. It always helps. People love to listen to people who sound well, who speak well. It definitely has an impression on people, right? So the first thing was that. In terms of confidence, I'll tell you one other thing that I have learned over the years is to really take care of myself, to take care of my body, to take care of my well-being, physically and mentally. Why I say this is important is because when I'm feeling 100% in my system, I will be able to give out 120 or 150%. If I'm unwell, if I have anxiety, if I have fear, if I am constantly, not in a great place, I will not be able to perform well. My efficiency will go down. My confidence, in my own self will go down. No matter where I am, no matter how beautiful an outfit I'm wearing, I will shrink. I will not be this person who's going to stand with, like, a very proud head with a smile on her face. It's not going to happen, right? So I feel it's so important to take care of your health mentally and physically, right? So some of the things that I have learned over the years that have truly helped me were yoga. Number one. I don't know why more and more people don't talk about it, but it is great for your physical health. It is great for your mental health, and it's free, right? All you need is a yoga mat in some space in your home, or join a class if you're, learning out for the first time as a beginner. And it truly is life changing, right? Meditation. I feel meditation is a very understated form of confidence building, because when you're meditating, you're actually having a conversation with yourself. You have a lot of questions. What am I doing in life? Where am I going? What's my purpose? What can I do to succeed in life right now? This moment, what can I do? And there is a science that shows when you spend time in meditation, when you're really aligning all your energies, your neurosensors are alive. You're basically in alignment with the universal energy, and what happens in that moment is that you truly unlock some doors and windows of your brain that you did not know needed to be opened. And the beauty of this is that there are so many things, especially in terms of deadlocks, in your career, in your whatever aspect of your life, whatever questions you ask the universe, right? They will be answered back to you. But you have to spend that time listening to yourself, right? Where they say that drown out the noise from the outside and truly listen to the voice of your being, because you know what is good for you, what is right for your life. We all do. But I think somewhere along the line, we've all become so disconnected from the grounding, as we call it. जब तक वो grounding सही नहीं होगी ना, we will not feel completely 100% in sync with our own energies. So which is why I feel yoga and meditation are two amazing tools to be able to harness your own energies, right? What else can I do to bring confidence? Now, I know we're all coming from very different career path. Some of you may be, freelancers, some of you may be already in jobs. But, small little things that I have learned over the years that have helped me as an individual who's struggling or surviving or thriving in 4 different careers has been the fact that if there is a seminar, if there's a workshop, if there is a YouTube session, like a Zoom session, or there is some get together, where I know I can learn something new, I will go. So I have actually attended a lot of different acting workshops. I go to a lot of screenings. I talk to people at events. I always keep in touch with people because it's so important to see who's doing what, how are they growing, because that's what you're latching onto, the growth. How is an individual growing? What are the skill sets that I could also imbibe from their life to be able to truly grow? So it's so important to make yourself accessible. If you have the time, you have the energy, you have resources at your, at your dispense, at your doorstep, then do it. Go out and really make use of the time because it will create value. And the other thing that I've done is, to really have something as this idea of financially being free. Now, this was something that was told to me by a friend, say 5 years ago. A lot of ladies, us women, we don't value the fact that financial freedom is actually a boon. It will help you achieve so much more in life. So no matter how small your salary is, how small your, income is at this point in time, please save. Please invest it in places where your, small little piggy bank is going to continue growing, because you need that cushion. We all need it. Because let me just say it, women, your lives are expensive because we spend so much on beauty, on health, on makeup, on wardrobe. I mean, the list is endless, right? We always constantly need funds to be flowing into our lives. So financial freedom is something that is very, very important. And I'm very fortunate because I remember when I come to Bombay, I did not know a person in this industry, right? I had no idea how to become an actor. I had the skill set of yapping. I could just talk my way into work. So I was already hosting events back in my school and my college and in Delhi when I was working. So I said, let me get into events. At least I have some flow of income happening. And with that income happening, I was able to turn my acting, hobby at that point in time as a career, right? Because acting sometimes initially doesn't pay so much. So what do? You can't just sit at home waiting for a job. I'm not one of those people. I said, I need to work, I need to be employed. So I went out and I got myself work. And I did voiceovers. I remember I used to write small little ad scribble scripts for production houses. So I did whatever I could to be able to get financial freedom, because I understood that if I want to live in Bombay, I want to maintain myself, I want to have a good life, I want to eat well, I want to go to cool places, I will need all this. And I was never the person who would be happy taking money from home. So I said, let's become financially free. And my mom and this other friend of mine very early on told me, invest, even if it's a little bit, do that. So that's how financial freedom happened, because when you're financially free, no matter where you are in your career path, you don't get stressed out. Okay, oh my God, this is the end of everything, right? And also, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. So you have one small stream of income on the side or a cushion on the side, and then you're going full-fledged into the career that you've chosen, right? So that is something that I feel is very, very important. Then I think one other thing we don't talk enough about is seeking mentors. Now, how is seeking mentor adding to your confidence? It's giving you the life skills without going through those challenges yourself. Because someone has already got the secret recipe for success ready for you. All you have to do is take that roadmap and apply it to your life. Right? We don't have enough mentorship programs in India, but I'm so glad that we have Aspire for Her, because this is exactly where I think a lot of us will be able to share our journeys with all of you, and you can take back whatever you feel is relevant for you, right? But if this was available to me back then, I would have accomplished so much more. So I feel it's such a beautiful thing to have a beautiful mentor in life. The next thing I want to talk about is, it's one of the best things today to remember and learn. It is the fact that what you eat or what you consume is what you become, right? So being an entrepreneur, being a freelancer, being a career woman, whatever content that we consume every day is going to really shape our personalities. It's going to shape our minds. It is going to shape our outlook towards life. So which is why it's so important to be mindful of what you're consuming. So somebody like me on a daily basis, of course, I consume a lot of beauty and fashion because that's part of my job, but I also consume a lot of other inspirational content, content that helps me grow. I read Financial Economic Times, Financial Express. I get on this YouTube channel of TED Talks and I listen to some of, the favorite text. I've got like this small little playlist of TED Talks that I will go back to time and time again. I'm always scouting for people who can help me unlock my higher potential. So I'm always asking universe to send me people who are going to help me get to the next version of me, the highest version of me. How can I? How can I? That's the question that I keep putting out into the universe. Because it's so important to not get comfortable. The day you feel, I'm comfortable, I think I've achieved, this is a great job, it's giving me my salary, I'm comfortable. That is where the growth stops. Because when you become comfortable, you do not want to open your brain towards higher, bigger things in life besides what you already achieved so far, right? So I feel it's important to be mindful of what you're consuming. So always read more, read a lot. So whether you're reading, things that are like fun and fictional, maybe even comedy, but always read something which also inspires you, like a biography or an autobiography, or, one of these self-help books. I know a lot of people have different opinions, but I personally think some of those books are brilliant because they talk directly to you. It's not like someone's giving you gyan. It's that book that you're reading and you're able to resonate with that word or the sentence on that paper, and you're like, wow, I feel that. So I feel that's very, very important. So yeah, overall confidence. How do you get confident? You take care of yourselves, you eat, read, consume well, you go out and meet people who are going to bolster your confidence, whether it's your mentors, your friends, your peers. Always surround yourself with people who will lift you in life, lift you higher. It's very difficult to find those people, but please, if you find them, keep them in your life. Make sure they stick around, because those are the people who will always be your biggest cheerleaders, and we all need that. And celebrate small wins. It sounds very, very Pinteresty and a very cheesy quote, but it is always so important. On my worst days when I'm not feeling great about anything and I'm questioning my existence and where am I in life, I have this gratitude journal where I write down things that I'm happy about every day or every 2, 3 days when I have the time. I'll just 10 things, 5 things, 2 things, 3 things, whatever. And on my lowest of lowest days, I'm going to go back and read all of those things. And I can't tell you how good you feel, because that is you who has achieved all of those moments in your life of happiness, right? So it's just about turning that tide and becoming happier again. Okay, moving on. The next C we are talking about is clarity, right? Clarity in what? Clarity in who you want to be as a professional, where you want to go, what are your 5-year, 2-year, 1-year goals, clarity in terms of what aspect of my personality should I be focusing on, clarity in terms of what is success to me. I think I'm going to come to the last question, which I feel is the most important question, and I'm going to spend a little more time on that. But let's start with clarity in terms of my career, right? So a lot of us, when we're just starting out, I'm sure some of you are starting out, some of you are mid-career, and then some of you are on a career break. Oh my God, okay, that's the toughest one. First of all, I want to applaud all of you lovely ladies who have taken a break and are now going back to work. I know how much courage that is going to take from you to be able to go back out there. It's not easy. I completely resonate with that. My mom had taken a break and I knew how difficult it was for her to go back. And I think COVID was a break for a lot of us, right? So when we went back to work, we were all like, ab kya karna hai? But I feel it's not a coincidence that you're here doing this small little workshop, because this is going to give you some of those little things that are going to make you clear about where you want to be, right? So clarity in terms of your career. Now, how do you get that? Where are you in life? So I feel it's important in the world that we live in today that there are so many opportunities, right? Especially thanks to social media, the accessibility to opportunities has become immense. Sitting in Coimbatore or Meerut or Lucknow or even Jammu, you can have access to opportunities across India or maybe even the world, right? But it is about your outlook. How do you get clarity? One of the first things I'm going to say is meditate. I know it's going to sound very easy, breezy, but it works. Because when you're truly asking yourself, what do I want? Every day, on the 10th day, on the 15th day, on the 20th day, you will have that answer. You will have that clarity of where you want to go in life. What's your larger picture? What is it that is truly going to make you happy? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it success? Is it a great work-life balance? All of these questions will come to you when you truly spend time understanding what you want out of life, right? So for that, only you can, only you can answer that question. The other thing is take baby steps. It's okay to fail. There will be things that will work out. There will be things that will not work out. There will be jobs that will be great. There will be jobs that won't be great. So it's okay. Go out there, take up whatever you feel is right for your life right now and do it. I remember when I had just started doing TV commercials in Bombay and I wasn't getting paid a lot. I was asking myself, what kind of an actor do I want to be? What kind of a person that I want to see on screen? Is she going to be someone who's always, say, a hot, sultry, sexy siren, or is she going to be someone who stands with gravitas and does like a whole, a range of versatility? And I think over the years, I really understood that as a person, I'm always going to lean in towards, more performance driven roles as opposed to just beauty oriented roles, because I'm I'm not someone who's enamored by people who are just beautiful. I want to be able to see, like, even people that I enjoy watching are the people who bring a lot to the, cinema, which goes beyond looks, right? Same in a job. Exactly that, as a presenter as well. What is it that I want to do? I want to be able to do any job as a presenter really, really well. Now, that's my clarity for me, right? Now, how do I get there? I get there with confidence. I get there with a lot of homework. There will be days that I will make mistakes. There will be days where I will goof up because it's probably the first time that I'm exposed to a challenge like that. Okay, but I have to remember I'm also learning. Okay, I might have a certain number of years of experience in this field, but I'm still not perfect. There will be things that will throw me off. So in those moments, I need to be kind to myself. I need to be able to value how much I've already achieved. And I feel when you're kind to yourself, I don't know, you're just being a nicer person. You're becoming someone who's ready for everything. And when I say be kind to yourself, it's like how you would talk to somebody you love. You know, you would always be nice to them. You will always have their back. So I feel it's exactly the same when you're talking to yourself. Never say anything negative to yourself about having goofed up, or having not done enough, or not being able to accomplish a target. Be kind to yourself, because every word that you're saying to yourself is also becoming a part of your confidence. It's like a meter. The more good things you will say to yourself, the stronger your confidence meter is going to be. The more you will keep saying bad things to yourself, the lower your confidence meter is. So always be really kind to yourself. It's so important. It's a very underrated skill, but it takes you longer, right? What else? As to find clarity, what can you do to find clarity? I feel we have social media, right? Be creative. Go out and see people who are doing similar stuff. Learn from them. Learn new things, learn new tools. Get on your phone, download apps that you think is going to be helpful to your career. Read, learn, watch, really consume the right kind of data which is going to inspire you. Because when you're inspired, you're going to make the right decisions towards where you want to go in life. And especially for people who've taken a break, I feel you will always feel that you've missed out on so much. Trust me, today, being in the middle of all this, I still feel I'm lost because there's so much happening around us. There is so much. AI is coming, right? You have so many new apps that people can use to learn, to grow, to edit, to put data out there. You have Chat GPT to, form your resumes, your emails, everything. But please remember that these are just tools. Ultimately, everything boils down to you as a personality. What do you bring to the table? Right? So I feel one other thing is very important in terms of achieving clarity is, where I was talking about what is it that you want to achieve? What's success to you? Now, success to me is a very, very big word, but how do I make it simple? I make success simple by saying that success for me is not just the job title or the career that I'm in. It's not the salary that I bring home. For me, success is a great work-life balance. Am I healthy? Am I happy mentally, physically, peacefully? Am I truly able to create value out of my life? Whatever I'm taking back home, am I able to give back to the society? Now, I feel it's very important for all of us to be attached to the causes around us that truly help us feel good, whether it is helping, underprivileged. I'm someone who's a big animal activist, so I'm always helping out people who want to, get help with animals. Whatever it is, whatever cause that resonates with you, please stay attached to that, because I feel that really helps you find strength and always guides you in the right direction, right? There is more job satisfaction if you're able to contribute towards these aspects of your life. And the other thing I feel is important is that no matter what job you choose, are you making enough impact with it? I have said this over and over again. It's so good to be like this big, create when you're in a small pool and you're a big fish. That's a great way to work, especially when you're just joining back. So it's okay to take small projects where you have a bigger impact role, because that's going to help um, polish your skills, give you more confidence, give you more learning scope, right? As opposed to be a small fish in a very large setup, you'll be lost, because it's obvious for us to truly gain confidence in ourselves after having a little bit of a gap from our work. It's important to give yourself that right kind of a break that is going to give you confidence and not take away from it. So be mindful of that. Then the other thing I think everybody wants to understand today is how to form connections. Oh my God, I'm still learning, because I feel it's such a beautiful way that we all want to stay connected today. We have so many platforms: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There are so many ways you can stay connected. The first step is to really go out there and find the right people who inspire you. Stay connected with them. Follow their journeys, follow their daily habits, follow what they do to succeed. Sometimes, the success lies in very little things. It could be just getting up in the morning, going for a walk, getting up in the morning, meditating, doing a very small activity as maybe gardening, whatever, like little things that sort of help you get the maximum out of your brain, what you're reading, what you're eating, all of these things, right? Now, how do you build connections? Now, this is something that I've learned over the years. There are so many beautiful ways that nobody talks about. For example, if you're part of a gym, right? Or if you go to a yoga class, or you are part of, say, a pottery session, or some kind of a beautiful community that you have been, part of, or something like this. Celebrate those things, right? Find ways to get together, be it potlucks, be it small little get-togethers. If you're having a birthday or you have a reason to celebrate, invite those people, make them feel special. Because if you're going to invest on those small connections, they are going to come back to you, with value tomorrow, because you're making it personal. You're truly letting somebody else know that they are valued in your life, right? So do that. If you're someone who's growing online, if you're trying to grow a community online, how do you grow a community online? It's, I think, the most easiest, and yet it's the most hardworking kind of a way, right? You have to engage with similar pages, or with pages you feel would be useful to your growth. That's what I do. I engage with people who inspire me, or people who are constantly doing better or more aspirational work in the same spheres that I'm working in. So always engage with them, because that communication is going to open the doors for a lot of new knowledge, a lot of new brands, a lot of new people who probably will work with you because how you have begun that interaction, right? One other thing, like I said, be out there, attend seminars, go to these pop-up workshops, wherever, meet people, build connections, because we're living in such beautiful times that there's so much knowledge out there, but we just have to be mindful of what we want to consume. So put yourself out there. Let's see how much we can gain from all this, right? What else? I think being a cheerleader, right? I feel when you are truly investing in a connection, say you've found somebody that you feel is a great person that you would want to be associated with, be their biggest cheerleader. Don't feel threatened by them. Don't feel, like, I don't know, they're just too good. I don't think I can be ever like that. No, be their biggest cheerleader, because when you are cheering for them, they are noticing you cheering for them. Everybody, like today, if I'm online, I know who are those people who genuinely want me to succeed in life, who will be genuinely happy for me to succeed. And I will value those people. Even if those people are not from my industry, but are my biggest cheerleaders, I will value them, right? So I feel when you're truly building a connection, be mindful of the fact that you have to be genuine in what you want. You can't fake a connection for a long period of time. It's going to fall apart and it's going to turn out badly at some point. Okay, so we have 15, 16 more minutes. We're going to quickly do the last bit and then take on questions, right? Let me also see what was the second poll about. Okay, second poll, we've talked about nurturing networks. Okay, this was something that most of you wanted us to talk about. Okay, great. So one other thing that I do to build great connections, I'll tell you, is also to, I watch a lot of TED Talks, right? Like I was telling you, I have a playlist. So I've subscribed to a lot of neuroscience, people who are sort of elevating their life by changing their thinking patterns. So I'm following a lot of those channels because they are able to give me tools to rewire my brain, to really understand that I am not a limited person. I'm a person with infinite potential, right? And now there is so much knowledge out there that I feel that every time you listen to an inspirational talk, you feel inspired, right? We all do. So why can't I do that every day if it is going to be that kind of a dopamine hit for my brain? I should be able to do that every day till I really unlock Meghana 2.0. Meghana 1.0 has gone on for this long. Now I need to see what 2.0 can do. And then bring it 3.0 and then maybe get to 17 Pro Max. You know how Apple is constantly launching things. I think we need to keep up. There's so much in terms of learning and knowledge that we can benefit from. Lastly, okay, this is the most amazing aspect, the conversion. So we've built the confidence. We have gotten the clarity where we want to go in life and what we want to achieve. And okay, what was the question? Okay, wait 1 second. Quickly taking the question again. We have a beautiful question which is also showing up. Okay, lovely. So we're going to take all of these one by one when I'm going to finish in the next 5 minutes and take on all your questions. Okay. So last bit is conversion. Okay. So you have gotten to a point where you have connections, you have confidence, you have clarity. Now, how do you convert that into a job opportunity? My dear friends, it's not simple. It's not an overnight success, but it is right at your doorstep. The secret lies in consistency in all of the three. Where you have been consistent throughout, you will finally have a bunch of opportunities at your doorstep, right? Now, when these opportunities arrive, what is important is that you are ready. You are truly ready, my dear friend, mentally and physically. You have to be 100%. So again, going back to the first thing, take care of yourself, right? The other thing is that you have to be a genuine person, right? You have to be someone who's working hard and working smart. I know working hard is a great aspect to being a professional, but today, working hard alone is not enough. You have to work smart, which is where if you have these extra tools, Chat GPT, some other apps, a lot of information, use Google the right way, really have a bank of knowledge that people can use, right? And now this is something that I was watching in a TED talk that I thought was fascinating. So for example, I want to work with, I want to be my boss's main go-to guy, right? I want my boss to really love me, respect me, think of me as for my next promotion, right? What do I do? So this is what I did. I had this one person that I thought I wanted to learn with. I started following their journey on social media. I started reading up about them. I really wanted to understand what is it that they do to be who they are. I listened to a lot of their interviews. Okay, now I have this bank of knowledge. So now I know that when I meet with them, I'm going to have this conversation that is going to be substantial. That is not going to be just some fact about, oh, I love your work. You're so inspiring. Yeah, okay, that's great. But if I'm able to really say something of impact, for example, I met Baman sir. I'm studying and I'm writing with him right now, and he's someone whom I absolutely love and adore. The first time I met, I knew he is a person who loves food, who loves knowledge, who loves cinema, right? So what I have done over the years is I have done my homework. Now, when I'm having a conversation with him, I'm able to hold my ground. Where he's talking about some cult cinema, I'm able to say, no, I feel this director, this film is better because A, B, C, D, E. This writing technique in this script was fascinating. And then he understood that this person, this girl, is also someone who's equally passionate about things that I do, and he's always looking to work with people who are passionate and driven. And not just him, trust me, everybody is looking to work with people who are passionate, who are driven, who are positive, who are really genuinely warm. And I think one of the biggest advantages of being out there today is when the opportunity comes your way, no matter how big or small it is, be flexible. Sometimes we get so rigid in the way that we live and the people that we become, we are not flexible. Flexibility could mean in terms of working hours. It could mean in terms of how much knowledge you want to share for the salary that I'm getting. Uh, how much of myself I want to put out of my comfort zone to achieve that person's target. For example, I'm hired for an event. Okay, now they have hired me for a job which is just 2 hours long, right? They told me in my contract A, B, C, D, E. But when I get to the point, when I get to the location, it's completely haywire. The director is lost. The script is not in place. And it's not just 2 hours, it gets stretched into those 6 hours. Now, either I can stand there, sit there, whine, crave, throw tantrums, be nasty about everything, or I can be truly empathetic. Okay, this is a team that is also learning. So let me be nice to those people. And trust me, in those moments, I have been able to forge friendships that have carried me for life. Those people I'll be the first person they will think of when they are doing something big tomorrow, because they know that I am an accountable person. I will be there for them without judging them for their flaws. And we all need those kind of people, right? And I think one of the first and the last things that I want to end the session with is that have far-sighted big goals for yourself. Don't settle small. Don't settle for small little visions. Have a grand vision and have like a pyramid scheme, okay, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 year, have that kind of a goal for yourself. You're not going to achieve all the success overnight, but you will eventually get there. For us, it's important that we continue to sort of be consistent with what we are doing. Okay, I'm going to take questions quickly. You can. How do we build confidence while being the boss of an office of 5 people, and while working, I meant should being the professional attitude? Okay. So I feel when you're with 5 people, right, you're the boss of just 5 people. I personally would find a place where I'm not too friendly, but I'm not too boss. Say for example, in a 100% situation, I will be 30% friendship, and say 70% boss, or 40, 60-40, depending on what the situation is. Because at the end of the day, I need them to do the work. I need them to listen to me as a boss, because if they're not going to value what I'm saying or I'm telling them, then the goal is never going to be achieved, right? So as long as I can get my work done through friendship, through being truly a nice person and easygoing, great. But if you think those people need a little bit of pressure, a little bit of danda, a little bit of, you being a hard taskmaster, then be mindful and do it. How do we manage the time we have multiple passions? Okay, I'm someone who has multiple passions, and I feel different days I find a different calling. There'll be days when I don't feel creative. Okay, those days I will invest in learning more. I will just sit and consume content. I will watch films. I will get on YouTube, do TED Talks. I will say, revisit some of the notes that I've made for some kind of a presentation. All of those things I will consume. I will want to get inspired, right? So I'm going to invest in that. And I feel that balance can come only when you're able to, I don't know, like mentally be ready. There are days when I have 10 things riding on my head and I'm still smiling and I don't know how. Because there have been those other 7 days before that when I was without work and I didn't know where my life was going, but I was consistently working on my mental and my physical health. I was eating right. I was taking care of myself. I was talking to people who are inspiring me, who are cheering for me. So I feel those little things add up on the days that you don't know how to handle the pressure. How do I know what am I really passionate about? Go out and learn, try different things, juggle different jobs, take up a job, spend 6 months, take up another job, spend 6 months, do master classes, talk to your friends. I feel one of the most underrated things will also be that your friends know you better than you know yourself. So ask them that, okay, hypothetically, what job do you think that I should be doing, or what capacity do you think I will be good at? So ask them, ask your parents, ask your relative, people that you think would genuinely care for you. Ask them, don't ask random strangers. I speak on stage. This is from Preeti Yadav. I speak on stage multiple times before, but I still get fear and hesitant. How to manage that is, I feel I still have it. I still get butterflies sometimes before a really big event. My thing is, I listen to a lot of music. So when I'm getting ready for the event, I'm listening to some really good songs. I do a lot of affirmations. I can't tell you how amazing it is to listen to affirmations because it's reprogramming your subconscious mind, So that is something while I'm getting ready, I'll be listening to a lot of affirmations, happy music. I'll be telling myself great things and I will be revising the content, So if I'm presenting, say, for Kérastase, right? So I'm going to be revising the names of people that I'm going to be pronouncing on stage. I'm going to be, just doing my own little monologue before I go up so that I have that flow, So when I go up on stage, I have the first 10 minutes ready in my head. 10 minute के बाद देखेंगे क्या होगा, right? Let's see what else. You can share here what you struggle with in general, interaction with others or networking. Okay. Do we have any more questions that I'm missing out on?
Yeah, I was also just checking. I think you've answered all of them, Meghna.
Okay, lovely. Anything else that you guys want to talk about?
I think we just got one more question from Aishwarya.
Yes. Aishwarya says, how to handle if I have some great ideas, creative field, but don't have resources, how not to miss out on them. Okay, first of all, write down everything that you are feeling creative about, maintain a book, write down your ideas, okay? And then go step by step. Say, for example, your first idea is hypothetically, you want to start a YouTube channel talking about your favorite food, right? Now, see some other YouTube channels that are also doing the same work and see what resonates with you, right? Then maybe you'll get an idea of how you want to go about it, hypothetically, right? And there are so many, what exactly do you want to do in the creative field? If you give me an idea, then I'll probably be able to answer that more specifically. But I feel there's so much information out there that if you have a creative idea, someone else has already done it. I can tell you that, right? It's only about how you as an individual will sound different. That's where your personality has to come in, because even though we have the same, say films on, love stories, but yet every film which is on a love story will be slightly different because the director has had a different vision, the actors have done a different job, the dialogues were different, the songs were different. And I feel it's the same with even fashion and beauty content, right? There will be some channels that you love to follow because there's a certain uniqueness to them, because something resonates with you more than others. So I feel it's a connection that only you can find out. Okay, she has a fashion brand, but no one to shoot my design. So I don't know, these days you have a great tripod, you have lights, and you also have a remote control. You can shoot your own content and you have great editing tools. So I know it takes a lot initially when you don't have resources, but you have to put in that hard work in the initial few months till you start generating income. And once you have the income, you can hire a team. But let me tell you this, sometimes the output that you will create with your creativity will be better than hiring a job or hiring a team of 10 people, because sometimes their visions may not align with yours. So you're going to find that very, very challenging to get what you want out of those 10 people. So start small, start shooting your own content, posting, watch other pages that you feel are also like yours and see what they're doing that is working for them. Learn from their hooks, their editing styles. Think basic. And these days, I'm telling you, Instagram is actually pushing out content which is self-shot. If you're genuinely engaging with people, Instagram is loving that. It's not anymore about doing high fashion shoots where a team of 10 people are working behind. Not anymore. So yeah. Anything else that you want to talk
I
about?
think
can't overcome fear of judgment ऐसे, उसमें time जाएगा. You know, you have to become slightly thick-skinned, because agar you're going to get into the public eye, you know, there will be people who would love your content, there'll be people who will not like your content. Ultimately, you have to focus on the good, focus on the half glass full, right? Because those are the people that want you to succeed. So like I said, always, always, always bank on people who want you to succeed. You know, once you focus like that, then you will not automatically start thinking about people who don't want you to succeed. Let them go. इतना time attention नहीं देने का उनको. Okay, I think we've covered everything, guys. If there is anything else, you can always leave your questions, and we'll keep putting it out on the page. You know, maybe we'll do like a Q&A with Aspire for Her on their Instagram page. So yeah. Okay, Preeti has one last question. Do we have the time?
Yeah, sure. We can take one last question.
So Preeti wants to know, if someone wants to go into fashion industry, how to start? You mean as a model or as a designer, or how? As a model. Okay, so you have a lot of courses these days that are training people in the walking, speaking, you know, posing. Actually, a friend of mine is currently doing one such course because she is able to learn so much from it. And what these agencies also do, they help you create your own social media page. They tell you, say, they'll give you a task, go create a 30-second reel on walking for the ramp. So I think you have a lot of these courses, right? So learn from those courses. Once you have a good portfolio, they'll send it out to people. Or if you already have pictures, then just start connecting with, you know, people that you want to work with. You know, find out the fashion choreographers, the photographers, the talent agencies, if they're signing up new models, send them your, you know, pictures and your work links, and yeah. So beautiful, guys. I think we've had, wow. So in the two polls, I think a lot of you have voted, and we've got some great feedback. Yeah, so we've covered all the points, I think, right? Okay, Megha wants to know, what is it being friendly in a workplace? Friendly usually depends on the kind of workplace that you're in. I'm someone who's friendly enough that I'm able to hold a generic conversation. If I'm working with the team for the first time, I'm approachable. That's like, I'm just friendly. Like, I'm nice to people. I'm not evil or, you know, starry. I'm nice to people because I feel when you treat people with respect, they will respect you back, right? That's something that I live by because it's so important. It's important to speak to them with respect, with grace, with kindness, because you don't know who's going through what, right? So that's what I mean when I say friendly in a workplace. I do not mean, oh, let's go hang out and we become the best buddies and oh my God, we're the best friends forever. No, I think it's so important to have your, you know, work sort of image intact. Over a course of time, if you know, begin to become good friends, then that will organically happen. But one opportunity of work, you can't force friendships, and you should never. I would never advise mixing work and friendship because sometimes it doesn't go the right way. Now, someone wants to know, this is Prithvi Raj. It was truly an information. Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Prithvi. We are very, very happy that you enjoyed this session. Absolutely. Reading a book. Yeah, I think, okay, one of, you know, I tell you a funny, small little incident with regards to reading. So have you guys heard of Robin Sharma, who wrote this book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, right? I picked up this book at the airport, started reading it, loved it, started, you know, like sharing it on my Instagram. I think this was the third time that I had shared something on my Instagram about this book. And Robin Sharma saw that. He responded, you know, and he was so happy that someone was genuinely benefiting from his work that he actually sent me an autographed book of his, which was just getting released, right? So I feel if you are truly someone who is reading and learning and you're tagging the right people who you're getting inspired by, they will follow your journey. They will be your cheerleaders when the time comes. So I think the idea is to just be consistent. So we have, these two communities on Facebook where you can actually put up testimonials. You have to be a part of this community, guys, because this is where we keep doing, a lot of workshops, keep having these sessions. So it's quite nice to stay connected. And I'm always happy to come back here and sort of talk to you girls because there's so much I also learn from these sessions. So, well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Meghna, and it's a pleasure for us too to keep having you back, and we look forward to having you back for yet one more insightful session.
I'm on.
The session today was equally inspiring, and I personally learned a lot, and I'm definitely going to implement all the tips that you shared today.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to everybody who joined the session today. And we can close now. Have a great evening.
Thank you, guys. Lots of love, success,
Thank
and
you.
victories.
Bye-bye.